Do you feel it? This constant urgency. The feeling that you're always one step behind. The modern world sells us a promise: speed. Instant results, overnight success, happiness just a click away. We live in a frantic race, but where are we running to? We look around and see everyone in motion, and the fear of being left behind pushes us to accelerate even more. But what if I told you that the greatest trap isn't slowness, but the rush itself? Imagine a river. It doesn't carve valleys with fury and speed, but with the relentless persistence of its flow. Drop by drop, day after day, it shapes the landscape. Nature is in no hurry, and yet everything is accomplished. We, however, have disconnected from this rhythm. We demand that our lives unfold like a 2-hour movie, with a quick climax and resolution. And in this incessant quest for speed, we lose the most powerful thing we possess: consistency. This video is not about how to be faster. It's not about productivity hacks to squeeze more tasks into an already crowded day. It's about the opposite. It's about the forgotten power of taking one step at a time, every single day. It's about finding strength in rhythm, not in explosion. About understanding that true progress isn't loud, but quiet and continuous. If you feel lost in this whirlwind of urgency, seeking more emotional balance, clarity in your decisions, and a way to better navigate life's challenges, then this video is a refuge for you. So, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. With each video, we aim to strengthen you from within so you can see the world with greater wisdom. 1. The illusion of speed and the emptiness of the immediate. I've been in that place. Believe me, I know the anxiety that the rush generates all too well. I used to find myself consuming content on how to get rich quick, learn a language in 3 months, transform your body in 6 weeks. Each title was a seductive promise of a shortcut. I would jump from one strategy to another, from one method to the next, always searching for the magic formula that would take me to the mountaintop without the effort of the climb. The result? A collection of abandoned beginnings and a deep sense of frustration. I wasn't making progress. I was just moving fast in circles. The culture of rush teaches us to value the peak, the final result, the photo at the top of the mountain. But it devalues the journey, the sweat, the discipline of the climb. The problem is, life happens on the climb. The happiness we seek is not in the destination, but in the quality of our walk. Speed gives us the illusion of progress. Completing 10 superficial tasks feels more productive than dedicating hours to a single, deep, meaningful one. Receiving 100 notifications and likes gives us a dopamine hit that makes us feel important, but it's a fleeting pleasure that leaves us emptier than before. This search for the immediate creates a vicious cycle. When we don't see quick results, our mind, addicted to instant gratification, interprets this as failure. So we give up. And we look for the next shortcut, the next shiny promise. This mentality makes us fragile. We become incapable of dealing with the boredom necessary for mastery, with the patience required for expertise, and with the resilience that only time and effort can build. The world of rush promises us everything, but in the end, it delivers chronic anxiety and the feeling that we are never good enough, because there's always someone who seems to be getting there faster. Reflecting on this, I realized that speed is often a form of escape. An escape from the discomfort of hard work. An escape from the silence necessary for self-knowledge. An escape from the vulnerability of trying something and not knowing if it will work out. Running keeps us busy, and busyness is a perfect disguise for a lack of direction. But when you stop, when the noise ceases, you are forced to ask yourself, where am I going? And that's where the real work begins. The work of abandoning the illusion of speed and embracing the reality of the transformative power of consistency. 2. The anatomy of consistency, more than repetition, a commitment. So, what exactly is consistency? Many people confuse it with perfection or with a rigid, soulless routine. But consistency at its core is much deeper and more flexible. It's not about never failing. It's not about doing the same thing the same way forever. Consistency is the act of committing to the process, regardless of your mood, your motivation, or the immediate results. It's the conscious decision to show up, day after day, and take the next step, no matter how small. Think of a writer who sits down to write every day. There will be days when the words flow like a river, and they will write pages and pages of pure genius. And there will be days when they will stare at a blank page for an hour, managing to write only a mediocre paragraph. The inconsistent writer, focused on the result, would get frustrated on the bad day and perhaps give up. The consistent writer, focused on the process, understands that both days are part of the job. They don't judge themselves by the day's output, but by their ability to sit at the desk. They know that genius doesn't come from a divine inspiration that falls from the sky, but from the habit of being present when it decides to appear. Consistency is an act of faith. It's the faith that small actions repeated over time generate exponential results. It's what investors call compound interest. In the beginning, the growth is almost imperceptible. You save a little money and the return seems insignificant. You study a language for 15 minutes, and the next day you still can't form a sentence. You meditate for 5 minutes and your mind is still a chaos. This is the point where most people give up, seduced again by the promise of speed. But the consistent person persists. They understand that progress is not linear. It's compounded. And suddenly, after weeks, months, or years of silent, invisible effort, something magical happens. The small investment has become a small fortune. The sentences in the new language begin to connect. The once chaotic mind finds moments of clarity and peace. This is the power of consistency. It's not glamorous. It doesn't make headlines. But it builds empires both inside and out. It's what separates amateurs from masters, dreams from realities. It's a silent commitment you make to yourself, and the universe in time responds to that commitment with overwhelming force. 3. Building the inner fortress. How to cultivate consistency. Understanding the importance of consistency is the first step. But how do we cultivate it in a world that conspires against it? The answer lies not in superhuman willpower, but in intelligent systems and mindsets. First, start ridiculously small. Our brain is wired to resist big changes. If you decide, I'm going to work out for an hour a day, but you haven't worked out in years, the internal resistance will be immense. Instead, commit to something so small it's impossible to say no. I will put on my running shoes and stand by the door for 1 minute. I will open the book and read 1 paragraph. I will sit on the meditation cushion and take 3 deep breaths. The initial goal is not the result. It's to build the identity of a person who shows up. Once you have your shoes on, running for 5 minutes becomes easy. Once the book is open, reading a page becomes natural. The initial action breaks the inertia. Second, focus on the process, not the goal. The goal is your destination, but your attention should be on the step you are taking right now. If your objective is to write a book, the goal of 200 pages can be paralyzing. But the process of writing 300 words today is manageable. Fall in love with the act of doing, not the idea of having done. The joy found in the process is the most sustainable fuel there is. Goals can motivate you to start, but it's the love for the process that will keep you consistent on the hard days. Third, never miss twice. Perfection is the enemy of consistency. You will fail. There will be a day when you don't work out, don't study, don't meditate. It happens. The all-or-nothing mentality says, oh, I've broken the chain, so now it doesn't matter. And one day off turns into a week, a month, and the habit dies. The consistency mentality is different. It says, okay, I failed today. It's human. But the most important rule is, I never miss twice in a row. Today's failure was an accident. Tomorrow's failure would be the beginning of a new bad habit. This simple rule is incredibly powerful for getting you back on track immediately, turning a slip-up into a small exception, not a complete derailment. Fourth, create an environment that favors consistency. We are products of our environment. If you want to read more, leave a book on your nightstand, not your phone. If you want to eat healthier, don't have junk food in the house. Make the desired actions easier and the undesired ones harder. You don't have to fight temptation if it's not within your reach. Design your environment so that consistency is the path of least resistance. Your willpower is a limited resource. Use the architecture of your environment to preserve it. 4. Consistency, self-knowledge, and inner peace. The practice of consistency goes far beyond achieving external goals. It is one of the most powerful tools for self-knowledge and emotional intelligence. Every time you commit to a daily action, you are, in fact, opening a dialogue with yourself. Think about the act of journaling every day. At first it might seem superficial. Today I did this, I ate that. But over time, as you sit in silence with your thoughts, patterns begin to emerge. You notice the triggers that lead to your anxiety. You identify the limiting beliefs that sabotage your actions. You discover what brings you genuine joy and what is just a distraction. The blank page becomes a mirror, and the consistency of showing up before it is what allows your true image to be revealed. The same happens with meditation. In the early days, it's a battlefield. The mind jumps from one thought to another, restless and rebellious. It's uncomfortable. But consistency teaches you not to fight. It teaches you to observe. And by observing your thoughts without judgment, day after day, you begin to realize something profound. You are not your thoughts. You are the consciousness that observes them. This realization creates a space between the stimulus and your reaction. In that space lies your freedom, your ability to choose how to respond to life instead of just reacting automatically. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Furthermore, consistency builds unshakable self-confidence. Confidence doesn't come from sporadic big wins. It comes from small promises you keep to yourself repeatedly. Every time you say, "I'm going to do this," and you do it, you are depositing a coin in the piggy bank of your self-esteem. At first, it doesn't seem like much. But over time, that bank gets full. You build a reputation with yourself. You learn that you can count on the most important person in your life, you. This internal self-confidence is far more robust than the validation that comes from the external world. It cannot be shaken by criticism or failure because it wasn't built on them. It was built on the solid foundation of your own integrity and your daily commitment. In a world of rush and chaos, your consistent practice becomes your anchor, your safe harbor, your source of peace. 5. The compound effect, the invisible magic of consistency. If there were a secret to extraordinary success, it wouldn't be a genius talent or a stroke of luck, but a deep understanding of the compound effect. It's a simple principle, but one that our mind, focused on the linear and the immediate, struggles to grasp. The compound effect is the principle that small, smart actions, practiced with consistency over time, lead to massive, disproportionate results. Imagine you have two options. The first is to receive $3 million today. The second is to receive 1 penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days. Most people, seduced by the immediate result, would choose the $3 million. And for many days it would seem like the right choice. On day 10, the penny would have become only $5.12. On day 20, it would still be just $5,242. The person who chose the $3 million would be laughing. But this is where the magic happens. On day 31, that measly penny, through the power of constant doubling, would have turned into over $10 million. This is the perfect metaphor for life. The actions we practice with consistency are like that penny. Reading 10 pages a day seems like nothing. Saving $5 a day seems pointless. Doing 10 minutes of exercise seems like a waste of time. The immediate results are invisible. Society, which celebrates the instant $3 million, doesn't applaud your effort. But time is the greatest ally of consistency. Those 10 pages a day become 3,650 pages a year, the equivalent of 10 to 15 books. In 5 years, you've read over 50 books, accumulating knowledge that sets you apart from 99% of people. The $5 a day becomes $1,825 a year. Invested over decades, it turns into a financial security that most will never achieve. The 10 minutes of exercise add up. Your body gets stronger, your mind calms down, your energy increases. The long-term impact on your health and well-being is immeasurable. The world of rush blinds us to this math. It makes us overestimate what we can do in a day, and drastically underestimate what we can achieve in a year or a decade through small, continuous improvements. The real power isn't in making a radical, unsustainable change. It's in committing to a 1% improvement every day. A 1% that, compounded over time, doesn't just take you to a different place. It transforms you into a different person. A person who no longer needs the validation of speed, because they have found the invincible power of rhythm. We've reached the end of our reflection, but the beginning of a new journey. The world out there won't slow down. The pressure for urgency, for the immediate, will continue to scream in our ears. But now you know a secret. You know an older and more powerful force, the power of consistency. This isn't about waging a war against the modern world, but about cultivating an inner garden. A sacred space where your rhythm prevails. Where you honor the process, celebrate the small steps, and trust in the power of time. Life is not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon, and in a marathon the winner is not the fastest but the one who keeps running. So I ask you, what is your 1%? What is the small action, the seed of consistency that you can plant today, not tomorrow but today? It could be reading a single page. It could be taking a deep breath for 1 minute. It could be writing a single sentence. Do not underestimate the power of this beginning. The largest tree was once a seed. The longest river was once a spring. Your transformation will not happen in a flash of light, but in the consistent silence of your daily actions. Embrace that silence. Honor that rhythm. Because it is there that you will find not only the success you seek, but the peace you so deeply deserve. What is the first seed of consistency you are going to plant? Leave your comment below. Let's build this inner fortress together, one day at a time.